Hello. I think it's working. I hope it's working. Good morning, Chassis. How are you doing? In an ideal world, we have actual window capture happening separate from the capture for the captions, which almost never works. So I'm gonna try not to touch anything. And there should be some lovely piano music in the background. I hope. Hey Aiden, how are ya? Good to see ya. Hopefully that storm the other day wasn't too bad for you. Didn't really hit us very much. And then it rained for a hot second overnight last night, but didn't really matter. Good to hear you're doing good, Chassis. Where is Morty? Mort still has his blue plate in here. Too far. Too far. Well, it's Thursday already. So consider me ready for the weekend. Hi, Morty. I found you. Hey, Chris. How you doing? Nice to see ya. Okay, I'm gonna switch over to having Morph Market be the thing in the front for me. And it looks like things are still working. I'm shocked, honestly, because I'm doing like 5 window captures at the same time. And usually it only ever captures 1. So I don't want to break anything. The storm last week was crazy. Really? A foot of snow? What? That's ridiculous. Yeah, we got like a bit of rain that turned my yard into a mud pit when I was trying to chop wood, and that was about it. Well, I'm glad that's over. So we are here today to literally just chill. This has been a chill week for me. I haven't wanted to go back to speedruns just yet. Between the Last Guardian Resale copy and Casual Thursdays, which I still haven't decided what I want to do. Maybe I'll make a poll. But anyway, so this is Morph Market. I don't know if you can see in the top corner. I can't really make it, can't really drag it down too much here to help you see, but Morph Market, I believe, was originally started for ball pythons, which are these little fellas in the top left of categories. So for those completely unfamiliar with reptiles, a morph is like the coloration and the pattern and everything of a reptile. So you might have like albino morph, pinstripe morph, you know, leucistic morph, and all of those reptiles look different based on that. So that's why it's called Morph Market, because it was a place for you to go if you're looking for a specific morph of a reptile. Now, of course, it's much larger than just ball pythons, and you can find, as you can see, there's 62 categories here. So you can find just about anything that you would like here. There's a bunch of snakes, but here's our lizards. And I believe, yeah, there's even some other stuff. There's like invertebrates, scorpions, fish, axolotls and toads and all sorts. So there's, if you want an exotic pet, basically, this is the best place to go. I did not find Morty on here, but there is a skink category. Let's go with blue tongue skinks because they are what Morty is. Speaking of, is Morty still on camera? He is. That's surprising. Now, if we pop into here, you can suddenly see, oh my lord, there are a million kinds of blue-tongued skinks. Which is true. Morty is a northern blue-tongued skink. So that's where we'll go. And now you can see there's all sorts of Mortys. Oh, look at this Morty. This is a fancy Morty. An ivory blue-tongued skink, as you can see, is like just white. What a good Morty. What a good face. It took a long time for people to figure out how to breed Mortys that were just entirely white. Which is why this one is so expensive. That's $4,000. It's a very expensive lizard. Whereas, you know, if we just go to like the basic Morty, you can see it's 245 bucks. That's a big difference. My Morty was, I believe, $375 or $400. So he's just your run-of-the-mill standard Morty. But let's see what other kinds of cool morphs we've got here. This is an ivory that's only $1,200. I say only, as if $1,200 isn't a very large number. Because as you can see, this one is not like fully white. It's got a little bit of like a yellow stripe down the back. So it's not like perfect ivory. Plus, you know, people are free to set their own prices. Somebody can say that they have a skink that's worth $9,000 if they want to. This is a dark looking Morty. Black phase means that his black bands are especially thick and dark. He should continue to get darker as he gets older because this is just a little baby. So he's slightly more expensive. But I want to see if we can find like some real wild Mortys in here. Yeah, see, there's a bunch of other ivories here that are like $1,500 and very clearly ivories. Look at this. Look at his face. He's got such a good face. I love him so much. And they're all about $1,500. So that other person who had like a $4,000 Morty might have been exaggerating a little bit with his price. Red Magma, very red Morty. Skinny because, you know, just a baby. This is a cool looking ivory. Very pretty. He's on sale, so buy now if you're interested. How do they ship a lizard? So, well, I mean, I can show you. Ship your reptiles. This is Firefox, by the way, which I never use this browser, so anything that just popped up in that search bar if you want to try to incriminate me, I don't use Firefox, so I have no idea what might possibly have popped up there. Ship your reptiles is how you ship reptiles. They have special boxes. Yeah, shipping supplies. They have special boxes that look like... This says aquatic, but this is basically what they look like. It has a label on the outside that lets you write what kind of animal it is. It says which side is up. And it comes with a bunch of... Okay, let's actually not do aquatic stuff. Yeah. It comes with a bunch of, you know, insulation, and you can get heat packs and instructions about how to attach the heat packs so that it's like separate from your reptile instead of sitting on top of them. They're very carefully created boxes, and FedEx will accept these. So I have only ever used Ship Your Reptiles because I trust them. But you always ship FedEx priority overnight, which means you ship at about 5 p.m. and then the reptile will be waiting for you at the FedEx hub the next day before 10 a.m. because you don't want them to be in these boxes any longer than they have to be. Sometimes you put them in a pillowcase if they're like Sam was in a pillowcase because he's a 6-foot snake. And then he was just protected with the insulation and the little like foam padding. But like Morty was in a cup, which actually this one right here is also in a cup, which is like a deli cup, which is what you would expect for like a smaller reptile. You put them in a cup with holes so that they can't, you know, bang around inside there. So it looks like this is all of the Mortys that we've got. This is a very dark Morty. Look at that. Just black and white. I'm surprised that that price is what it is. And you can see over here on the right, there's information, right? You have the price, the sex, which depending on the lizard may or may not be accurate. You know, that's up to you to check. It has traits, which you can click on if you want, and then it will just filter by that trait. Because again, this is Morph Market, where you're trying to find specific kinds of things. Origin, captive bred is different. So captive bred is CB. That is different from CBB, which is captive born and bred. A CB reptile probably is still wild. So for instance, they might have caught a Morty and then it was female, and when they put it into captivity, then it had babies. Those babies are CB. But if the person owns 2 CB parents and those parents have a baby, that's CBB, or, you know, completely born in captivity from captive parents. Typically, when you purchase reptiles, you want to purchase CBB because they're healthier and they're tamer, usually. Good morning, Shavil. Good morning, Viv. Twiz, hello. How are y'all doing? So that's what it means when it says captive bred. Birth 2019. Proven means that they are 100% sure that this is a male. Proven males can occur if the male has fathered babies, if you have seen the male's weenies, or in the case of a female, if it's had babies, if it's dropped slugs, whatever that species specific characteristics are. And if it says proven here and you purchase from somebody and it turns out to be the other sex, you can usually get your money back. But if it doesn't say proven, then it's up to you to figure it out. Took care of that burn. It's just still here. It still hurts. But that's okay. And then down here you've got whatever the buyer's or the seller's description wants to be. Proven male blue tongue, pitch black line, dark line. Has been brumated and ready to breed, which can be important for some people. Some people will force their reptiles to brumate because typically a reptile won't breed if it hasn't done whatever natural things it does in the wild. For blueies like Morty, that includes brumation. So they include important information down here, whatever you need to know. And then over here on the side, you can see their seller rating and anything else that you wanna know about them. So we've seen Mortys. See you later, Chris. We've seen some cool little Mortys over here. There's another ivory that's really, really expensive. Oh, but the face though. Hi, buddy. Oh, look at his face. He's so good. Where did it go? There was some... I guess it's just on his listing. You can see down here where it says on this ivory one, where it says 21, which is the year he was born in, and it has a gray circle. That means they don't know the gender. So you buy it as is, and you just kind of deal with it, you know? It's up to you to figure it out. So I want to look for berries. I want to look at the monkey-tailed skinks. There are currently 7. That's surprising. But what's not surprising is that I recognize every single one of these. So it's harder than you might think to acquire a berry. This berry, 3 years old. I'm going to run you through my process here for how I was trying to pick a lady for Dingle. This one says that it's female, which I'm inclined to agree with based on these pictures. So here's our lovely lady, right? She's got a small head, big thick neck, and you can see down behind her leg, kind of where her vent is, there's not really any lump like there would be for a boy. Sancho, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for the resub. I appreciate you. I meant to ask you the other day how you were feeling. So how are ya? So this female I was considering. There's a couple reasons that I didn't go for her, but she's very cute. First of all, you can see her face just a little bit. She's got like a separation between her upper jaw and her lower jaw, kind of like she's got open mouth, you know? And a little bit of kind of scunge around her mouth. That tells me maybe she hasn't been kept in super good conditions, but that's okay, you know? It does look like she's missing one of her front toes. But the couple things that really matter to me, number one, her price. That's pretty high. Number 2, she's 3 years old. Dingle is 5. And usually you want the female to be older than the male. In a Zoom meeting, well, I hope that goes well. Hopefully it doesn't last too long. Her dark face skinks like emo. They know right out of the womb. They know whether they're gonna be emo, goth, whatever, and then their color just changes to match. Hey Sokasa, thanks for the lizard treat. Appreciate you. So I didn't immediately leap on this lady because she's younger than Dingle, which we don't really super want to see from a female. Some of these other pictures, she's got a very sweet face. Look at that face. Good face. So I reached out. It says inquire to buy, which this would say that I had reached out to him if I had done so on Morph Market, but I didn't. I just reached out to the shop directly. Because he says, this beautiful girl has been a long-term resident at our store and has been doing amazing. So I contacted him on Facebook. And the thing that made me not go with her is that she has been living by herself for the entire time that they've had her. Which is basically her entire life. That's kind of problematic, right? Because these guys are so social that it would be really hard to introduce one that's never met another berry to Dingle and expect that to not be problematic, right? I would expect her to be very aggressive and very territorial. Obviously, I'm not considering males. I have well too many males, but look at this lovely fella. Good guy. He definitely looks like a male. This one is so pretty. You don't usually see berries that look like her with all this pretty camouflage color. And again, looks like a female to me. Kind of round head, thick neck, not a big bump. Yeah, I really like her. She did not exist when I got Gooby. But still, 1,800 is quite a steep price to pay. These guys are rare, but still. The description is good. Has all toes, number one. And this skink has been kept with another suspected female for 6 years. So that's good. That's what you want to see. I would really have pursued this if this one had been available before I found out about Gooby. And here's the other female that she's living with. Which, again, I agree, is female. So you can see this one straight up labeled as wild caught. We don't want that. I will do everything that I can not to purchase wild caught, especially of monkey-tailed skinks, because their population is threatened, which is the whole reason I started working with them. We don't want to be taking them out of the wild. And also there's just like not very many good pictures of this one. This one is very cute though. I love this picture. What a friendly little lizard. So yeah, this description says USCB, which is US captive born, and thriving in with parents. So this is CBB, which is why it says self-produced over here. That means that the person who owns it was present when the baby was born, which is good. That's what you want to see. This one is a male. It's an absolutely beautiful male, but it is a male. Which is he's been here forever. And sadly he is wild caught as well, but so we got a fair number of bowies. But really only 2 that I would have considered, which is shocking because I have gone years without there being a single female posted on Morph Market. So yeah, if it says origin self-produced, it means that that person who is selling it was the one who owned the parents that had the baby. So you would, yes, you would be speaking like directly to the owners if you asked to purchase it. So we looked at Morty's, we looked at Berries. Yes, I do. Those couple were owned by the Frog Whisperer, who actually is the person that I got Longish from. So yes, I know him. Yeah, the Mortys were... I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of Mortys. When I click on Blue Tongue Skinks, these are all the varieties of Mortys. We only looked at Northerns because that's what Morty is. But, let's see. The second most common kind of Morty that you'll see, the ones you usually see in pet stores, are Marukis. Oh, there's no Marukis right now? Okay, well. Let's look at Irian Jayas then. Because, well, let's look at Halms actually. Because they look almost the same. So we got a couple here. Yeah, this is almost always the kind of Morty that you're going to see in like a pet store. If you go to PetSmart and they have a blue tongue skink. No other pictures. But they basically always have these black feet, which Morty doesn't, and that's how you can tell the difference. And their back doesn't usually have white. It'll just be like black and either yellow or brown. Mortys, like our Morty, Northerns, come from Australia. These kind of Mortys come from Indonesia, which is why they look different. And every now and then, you'll get black and white ones. You can see this person explicitly calls it axanthic, which means black and white. Not just in Mortys, but in reptiles in general. Something that is axanthic will be always black and white. And usually you can tell by their eyes, which are black. It's a genetic thing. Whoa, that's zoomed in still. Now, there are some cool-looking Mortys that we very rarely get to see. K Islands are cool. They're very rare. Yeah, they don't even have any, which I guess doesn't surprise me. No, I don't need little schneckies right now. I want to see if anybody has, like, blotchies. We'll just go to other for these exceptionally rare kinds. Yeah, there's a blotchy. Which you can see, $7,000? Yeah. That is actually about right. For blotched blue-tongue skinks. These are extremely rare. They cannot be exported out of Australia. Which is why they're so expensive, because you can see this person is in Nevada. Which means that this person has been working with blotched blue-tongue skinks, presumably for like 30 years or whatever, from before that ban against exportation was put in place. And that's the only way you can find these outside of Australia. So that's why they're rare. I forgot about an important biological thing. I would love to have a blotchy, but obviously, you know, you're not getting them for less than like $5,000. And you could probably buy a decent chunk of a used car with that, so... Sorry, blotchies. I really wanted to find a pinecone Morty. So I'll just have to show a picture. Shingleback skink, Tiliqua rugosa. Nobody has those right now. They are extremely cute and extremely weird. Their butts and their heads look basically the same so that they can confuse predators about which side is the important one. They just look like little pine cones. Yeah, look at this guy. I love them. But again, you can't export them from Australia, so they're extremely rare. It's a pickle! So let's see. Let's see. Oh, we got tegus! Oh, and caiman lizards. Okay, we gotta look at caiman lizards here in a second. But let's look at gladios for right now. There's a bunch of little baby gladios. Oh, honey, look at this face. Look at this good face. So now we're getting into more morph specific little things. A tribrid, that's, you know, a play on the words tri and hybrid, right? It's a hybrid between, in this case, 3 things. That's why it's called a tribrid. Between a red tegu, a blue tegu, and a black and white tegu. To create this little lady. Who is this? Harbor Exotics. I don't know who you are. But she's got a good face, and I love her. You might occasionally see the term holdback. Holdback means that the breeder produced this animal, and then they looked at it when it was a baby, and they were like, wow, this one is like really special. I'm gonna keep it for future breeding projects. And then for whatever reason, maybe it didn't, like the color ended up changing and it wasn't super what they were interested in anymore, or they don't have space or whatever, they choose to get rid of it later. So that's what holdback means. It means it was highly valued at the beginning and now they're getting rid of it for whatever reason. Some people are only interested in holdbacks because they consider those to be like higher quality animals, since the breeder themselves was interested, you know. The other thing that you'll see, things can get as complicated as you want them to be. Read it as hot albino? Yeah. So het. If an animal is het for something, we gotta start talking about genetics, right? So you'll see het and pos usually in an animal's description. So let's say that we're trying to make this tegu, who is very, very white, but still has this little bit of a pink nose. You can tell just by looking at it that this is a blue tegu, just kind of by what it looks like. Like, it's very heavily influenced from being a blue tegu. But this guy wanted an albino tegu. He didn't want it to have this black on it. He just wanted it to be completely white. So he was breeding, presumably, an albino tegu to something else. Maybe like a high white tegu or something to really try to get the white to come out. And this tegu is a baby of those tegus. However, it's not visually albino, right? But it does still have genetically the pieces that are necessary to make albino. It just doesn't have them in the right configuration. That's what het means. Het means that it's holding the genetic material for a certain morph, it's just not displaying it. So it's possible that you will breed this het albino to another tegu and get an albino baby. So some people, you know, you need to have het parents because of how genetics works with... Because albinism, for instance, and this kind of addresses your question, Chassis, it's a passive thing. Yes, it's a... what's the word? Not dominant, recessive. That's the word. Albinism is recessive, which means that both parents need to have the genes, and then those genes need to, like, come together just right. It's harder to make than something dominant. So a lot of times you want to have a het parent on both sides to increase the chances of having that trait. So that's what het means. In this case, het albino. Pos means that it possibly has the characteristics you want. So for instance, that can kind of be a challenge when you have two parents that each have like 3 things about them, right? You might have like a tribrid albino leucistic tegu that breeds with another tegu that has 3 ridiculous stats, you know? And you're really not sure what the baby got. You can say that it's pos X and Y, whatever, traits, because it could have those because the parents had those, but you're not sure. This tegu has good IVs. Exactly. This is literally just a website where you're trying to list your tegu's IVs. This one says, oh, Jesse's Jungle. Jesse is a wonderful human being. I don't know, some people who have been around in my Discord actually for a while might remember that I posted about Jesse. Because his favorite tegu, his big baby, Crime Scene, got stolen from his property. And he did eventually find most of his tegus. Jesse's Jungle. I want to show you what that tegu looks like because none of that has to do with... Yeah, owner of Jesse's Jungle asking for safe return of missing animals. Where's Crime Scene? Am I misremembering? Does Crime Scene not belong to him? The owner of a breeding facility is asking the public to return 13 beloved tegus stolen from an enclosure in Charlotte County. His name is Jesse Harden. He's super, super nice. Anybody with tegus is always, like, free to contact him and ask questions. I want to see Crime Scene. He's just so handsome, but there's no pictures. So yeah, he found, I think, 9 of the 13 he ended up being able to track down and reclaim. But some of them, like Crime Scene, were just like pets, not just a breeding project, and he was it hit the reptile community like a ton of bricks. Like, everybody mobilized. We were like, no, Jesse has to get his tegus back, you know? So this is a red tegu. Het anery, once again, means that it is carrying the anery gene, which is kind of like a contrast gene. But here you see CBB, which is, again, what you want. That's captive born at Jesse's place. And he even has birth certificate available. So here you can see he specifically says it's het 66%, which means that he had, presumably, one parent who was part anery and one parent that was full, and he was able to literally do the Punnett square calculation for what percentage this tegu would be. Every lizard title in this sounds like a brutal roast for a person, right? It's so fun to just, like, dig into the terminology and everything. This one is so pretty. And it just goes to show, right? Because this is also a pure red albino, 66% het anery, which is exactly what we just looked at. That the kind of ground beef colored tegu that we just looked at. This is exactly the same genetics, and look at how different it looks. Which is why you want to know things like het and percentage, because you can have two tegus with the same genetics that come out looking wildly different. What does RTB mean? Where did you see that? It could mean ready to buy, depending on where you saw that. Yeah, no, this is really expensive. $5,000. This is really expensive for a tegu. But it's so pretty, though. Yep, there's another one. Wow, $8,000 for a pure red snow. So this is an albino and anery. Pretty, pretty face. So these are expensive because, as Jesse said in the description down below, the first of these ever to exist with this genetic pattern happened in 2022. So they're very, very new. Someone was finally able to, like, get this to happen, you know? Yes, it could be ready to breed or ready to buy, depending on where you saw that. Oh, look at this! Look at this lovely fella! Well, okay, we never get to look at this lovely fella, apparently. Hello? I want to look at this lovely fella! We don't get to. It's done for forever. We get to look at him from over here. This $4,000 very pretty one that looks like magma. And I like him a lot. I wonder if... Can I... Yeah, I want stores matching rows. I want to see... It doesn't look like it, but nah. I thought maybe the breeder for Gladio and Raffellos was selling on here, but he's not, sadly. Now the other thing that we can do is we can sort by price highest first. I wonder if it'll be that snow. Excuse me. I am fully aware that $8,000 is higher than 1,100. Excuse you. I'm gonna start throwing out some filters here. You found a video with Crime Scene? He is so handsome, isn't he? He's like just a big red boy. Yeah, it depends. It is very true that albino can be really negative. In fact, you can see here, you know, with these bright red eyes, it's really important that if you have an albino reptile, you take care of it differently. Because if you just put this little baby underneath the same lights that you would use for any other kind of reptile, you could actually blind them. Because their eyes, you know, are super sensitive to light, being albino. So I've sorted by price highest first, and I want to go to sold. Yeah. I wanted to see what the highest cost Tegu ever sold on this site was, and apparently it was $27,500. Why? This is just a black and white Tegu. I mean, no offense, you're very cute, but why would you have sold her for $27,000? I bet what happened here... I mean, this is a pretty standard Tegu. Argentine, black and white female. That's literally what Gladio is. I did not spend $27,000. I bet what happened, and why this is so expensive, is actually because whoever contacted this person to purchase this Tegu probably made a deal with them. Like, I'm gonna purchase your Tegu, and I'm also gonna purchase, like, its enclosure, and maybe like 15 other reptiles from you, and we're just gonna bundle that all into one purchase so that you don't have to list 15 different things on this website, you know? Someone did not want to sell her, right? It's weird that we just saw that 8,000 and it's not showing up here. But yeah, these albino het anery ones are very expensive. Ooh, look at this one! So pretty! Albino pink panther. This is a different morph. Or Tegus. Very cute. Very sweet pre-socialized. That means that they spent time with her from the time that she hatched, so that she would be social with people, instead of just shoving her in a bin somewhere. Blue ice is a fairly common, like if you want a Tegu that looks albino but doesn't have a lot of the negative health repercussions like the red eyes, blue ice is... You can see that it doesn't have red eyes. Blue ice is a good way to achieve that. Thanks, Cheville and Sokasa, for the crime scene. Crime scene is so handsome. Oh, this one's very pretty as well. Purple tiger. Look at that good face. Look at that good face. I love Tegus. They're so cute. Okay, we've seen Tegus. We've seen Tegus. We have to do a little foray here into ball pythons, of course. Because Morph Market was created for ball pythons. So, as you can see, there are currently 37,439 ball pythons listed just in the United States and Canada. The number of morphs. Oh my god. My favorite morph for ball pythons is called Dreamsicle. Let me see if I can, Yep. Dreamsicle. They're very expensive. Wow, they've come down, actually. Dreamsicles used to be $5,000 to $8,000. So the fact that they're, you know, coming down to like 3,000, that's pretty good. But look at this lovely schnick. It looks like a little popsicle. Very, very cute. So it's always fun for people, right? To be able to name their own morph. Lickable. So here's another one listed as Dreamsicle. But very obviously is not visually Dreamsicle, so it depends kind of what you're aiming for. Whether you want something het, something pos, whatever. Yeah, here's a very dramatic Dreamsicle. I want to see her face. She's a little friend. Let me see her face. Yes. This very vibrant color. Ball pythons have such good faces. They're wonderful. Wonderful little schneckies. But that's just Dreamsicle. Oh, there's another very, very vivid one. The other reptiles that you'll really see with a ton of morphs are like leopard geckos. They also come with a lot of morphs. Alright, let's clear genes. And once again, let's sort price highest first. $40,000. What do we have here? Pied. Okay, so pied means that's what Cassie is as well. That means that they have basically like a white body with patches of color. It's not the same as being albino. 66% het. We know what that means now. So he's 66. She is 66% het desert ghost. That presumably is, you know, something to do with this kind of black and white coloration. That seems to be what they were going for, but it's not visual. I don't know how rare desert ghost is, but the fact that it's het for it probably is contributing to this price. And Pos, clown and cryptic. So clown is one morph, cryptic is another morph. So you have, for sure, a piebald, that's what pied means, a piebald snake that's exanthic, that's what VPI means, which is, so it's a black and white spotted snake that could have cryptic and clown in it, and definitely has 66% desert ghost. So I guess it's just so valuable because it has all of these things in one snake. At that price, the shipping better be free, right? And the other thing, right? Proven, no. So you could be spending $40,000 on a snake that you're not sure is female. And sometimes that matters. Because sometimes, you know, only a female can pass down some genetic material. Like in humans, right? Some things can only attach to the X, and some things only attach to the Y. And reptiles don't necessarily have X and Y. Sometimes they have, like, F. They have, like, different chromosomes. But, so, like, the sex matters. So, I don't know. I don't know enough about ball pythons to know if, like, desert ghost or clown and cryptic and stuff are, like, sex dependent. But there's a lot going on with this snake. And they're showing it with the rest of its clutch mates. So you can see kind of what some snakes got that their siblings didn't. This one that is $40,000 doesn't seem to have gotten any of the yellow, which is probably the desert ghost. Which is why it's het for desert ghost and not visual. It's entirely possible, Chassis, that they're literally just like showing this off, because if they have this listing, then it lends legitimacy to their business, right? It's just $40, yeah. But it does seem to be good. They're saying that it has eaten already, not available to ship until after several more meals. So they're taking it very seriously. They're making sure that the snake is healthy before you buy it. They're making sure that it's eating and it's gaining weight and it's old enough, rather than just being like, yo, here's a really expensive snake, buy it from me, you know? So see, look, here's another one. Here's another one. This desert ghost thing. This one's super pastel, which making a super something requires multiple generations of that thing. So super is automatically usually more expensive because it's like a long investment. But again, like, Something about this desert ghost thing is just... Yeah, it's super easy. It is the same seller. So I'm in fact, I bet that this is a sibling of the other one. It's super common for people to not take care of reptiles the right way, you know? So this is a different seller. This one is very pretty. So they don't even know what happened, is what they're saying here. Because they don't have... They know that it's snow, sure, but they don't have any other details. They don't have any down here by, like, the origin and stuff. They don't have, you know, all this genetic stuff. And this person literally says, it's like nothing I've ever seen. And they just describe the pairing. The pairing was a leopard lesser Woma, which is a morph, and pinstripe Mojave, which is a double morph. There's no pied or albino in this pairing to my knowledge, nor have I ever seen these genes expressed in this manner. So this could have literally just been a genetic mutation of a snake that otherwise would have looked like nothing like this. And that's why this person is so excited about it, you know? And he says, if purchased, we'll have exclusivity to also purchase one male from the same clutch, which will not be available any other way outside of purchasing this female. So he thinks that he has created a new morph. If proven out, this morph will officially be known as Snow. So he's claiming that this snake has created a new morph, which he has gone and named. So that's cool, if that's true. Yeah, the start of a new line. It seems like he was breeding something completely unrelated, maybe trying to get like Woma Mojave, and just something absolutely wild happened. And he's like, what is this? You know? Because it's definitely albino. You can see, like, its eyes, it's definitely albino. So he said that there was no albino in this line, which means it definitely had a genetic mutation to create this snake. Which is very cool. Super something is a snake who's meant to be sold to a breeder who wants to get a head start on breeding a trade-in. Yeah, that could be one thing. It could also be sometimes... You can sometimes, depending on the genetics, think of super as like redundancy, right? So if something is super whatever, you're more likely to get that in your pairing. So if you really want to cross a rare morph, you want a super of that morph so that you're more likely to throw that into the genetics of the babies, right? So yeah, I don't know what's up with this unknown soldier lady over here, but... Who else we got over here? See DG here again, Desert Ghost, that's a different person. So Desert Ghost must just be fairly rare. Because Desert Ghost with Pastel Pied Het Clown. Pastel Pied Het Clown doesn't matter. Those are super, super common. So it must be the Desert Ghost that's causing these to be so expensive. Oh yeah, Hypo Desert Ghost, here you go. Het Desert Ghost. Seems to be what people are working on right now. Desert Ghost must be some rare thing that was recently discovered, because you can see all these babies are within the last couple of years. Oh, here's a pinstripe. These are very cool. Pinstripes obviously are called this because of the very consistent stripe down their back. And so they'll be more expensive if that stripe is like perfect, if it's really, really pretty, like it is in this one. You can also get similar kind of snakes with patterns, you know, like it'll be pinstripe or like roadkill or a lot of like car names, because it reminds you of like the lines in the middle of a road, right? Hypo Clown Pied. A lot of people really like Pied just because these little spots can look like things. That's why I got Cassie, right? Because her spot looks like a ghost. What else we got here? This one's cool. Paradox Pied usually means... So, okay. So a pied snake has a white body with... It's like you took the normal pattern of a snake and then just occasionally splattered it on a white body, right? And so that's what you're seeing with the snake. You got the white body, and then you got this kind of brownish spots every now and then. Paradox pied is when you do that again with a different morph. So you got like two different kinds of spots on a pied snake, which presumably is why this one is so expensive, because it's got a little bit of that just regular pied, and then it's also got like the solid black of the mahogany black, which I imagine is quite rare to express. What brand is Cassie? I should actually just be able to look her up in my history, I think. We can go like literally to her listing. Oh, look at this one. So pretty. So Sunset describes the general coloration, which is this like purplish gray with orange. Hypo is what makes it light, as opposed to hyper, which would make it dark. And Mojave is like the pattern. So really, really pretty. Very expensive, obviously. This website is basically Build-A-Schnick. It's just so much fun to just like browse this website. And I don't get... Like, I can't look at like houses. Because, you know, comparison is the thief of joy, right? Like, I look at houses and I'm like, oh, I wish my house had this. And it makes me sad about my house. But I can look at reptiles all day. Also, you can see this exanthic over here on the right. Exanthic literally just means, like, desaturated to 0. So it's almost identical to the snake to the left of it. It's just that it's black and white instead of color. The exanthic is very cool. Here's another stripe you can see on his back. It's called red stripe because it's a slightly different morph, but same concept. Here is a pied that is almost not pied at all. It's just the head. Maple pied. Which is kind of like Cassie. Some call them nope ropes when they're actually love noodles. So there's a lot of very expensive ball pythons. I would be interested to see, and we'll go there next. I would be interested to see for leopard geckos how expensive those get as well. I'm looking for something real spicy now. Give me something spicy. Give me something unusual. We're getting into Orange Dream, which is related to Dreamsicle. That's why it has dream in it. I saw one as I clicked away that was quad het. Like it's got so much genetics in it. Genetic stripe is cool. They're very simple. But look at this boy. Girl, excuse me. Very textured. I looked at a couple like this. Obviously not this. God, I was not going to spend $10,000. But there are some morphs that kind of look like this that are very common. And we debated on a schneck that kind of looked like this that we were going to call Pixel. Because it kind of looks a little pixelated, right? Special Monsoon. Let me see real quick. I do too have orders. Okay, let me... I bet... Real quick, I'm gonna... Where did it go? Uh-oh. What have I done? What have I done? Here. I'm gonna turn window capture off for just a second. Oh no, I don't need to do that. I lied. You can keep looking at Special Monsoon. I need to turn captions off. Because I want to look at what Cassie's listing was. Was it Banana Enchi? I really don't think. Should be Albino Pied. Where's Cassie? Cassandra? Hide Het Ghost. That's what she is. Or maybe not. Is it this one? I don't recognize. I purchased Cassie from someone on Morph Market. Where's the... I have to find it. I want to find her thing. Cassandra? Okay, so it was before that. I swear I'm gonna do it. Bob? I have an email called Good Snacks. So that's something. Okay, I cannot find Cassie for some reason. Hey, Villain, nice to see ya. How you doing? You can usually look at sold listings. So it's weird that I can't, because I can't even find it in my email. And I know that I purchased from Morph Market. Which is weird, but anyway, that was ball pythons. I want to hop over to leopard geckos, because they have a ton of morphs as well that are very interesting to look at. Where are you, Leos? There you are. Okay, so once again, price. Highest first. Alright, 2,000. Not quite as much as Schneck's. And this is just, again, it's really hard to create these bright orange colors in reptiles, which is why you usually see these sorts of things being really expensive. Tangerine, Tornado, Electric, and Mandarin are the names of what they are. Let's see. Wow, look at this one. I've never seen one that looks like this. Gray? Lava Black Knight. What on earth? What a friendly little fella. Such a unique color. I've never seen that shade of gray. Really interesting. I forgot though that I wanted to go back to but yeah, you can already see that we're getting like almost to under $1,000 already. So Leos don't quite command the same price power as Schneck's. They're very cute though. I mean, this just looks like a pretty standard leopard gecko. Anyway, I forgot that I wanted to go back to ball pythons and I wanted to look for the highest sold of all time because we were just looking price highest first, currently active listings. But I want to go to Sold. Because it's going to be higher. Yeah, 138,000. This I would believe. Some people are just wild with ball pythons. Oh, this is interesting. It even has a little note here. Phantom has been genetically confirmed to be identical to Mystic through genetic testing. So I wonder if originally everybody was like really excited because Phantom was probably like super rare and they're like, oh my god, somebody got like a Phantom with this hypo gene, and then this isn't worth nearly as much anymore because they determined that it's actually just the same as the Mystic morph. I don't know. I don't know enough about ball pythons. But this, you can very obviously tell why this is worth $50,000. Look at this snake. It looks like a different snake every 3 inches. What on earth? Look at this. It's like 5 different snakes. And if you look at its face, half of its face is albino. Because it has 1 red eye. That is just... I mean, they literally say that it's a chimera. So this is genuinely like an intersex snake. Half of it is albino, and half of it is not. It's 2 snakes shoved into one body. Yeah, it absorbed a twin or something. Either it absorbed a twin or there was an error in splitting, right? The snake couldn't be contained to 1 snake. So yeah, obviously, that is why that's worth $50,000. When was this sold? Wow, look at that. This animal was produced in 2014. Clearly they kept it for like a long time. And then they sold it in 2022. So this has been a long time coming. And this is one of the babies that they said that it produced. So again, you can see it's got these little yellow spots, kind of some features of more than 1 snake. Underpriced? I bet people would argue maybe. Tap's roof of snake. This can fit so many snakes in it. So this one is very pretty. I'm not entirely sure why this would be worth so much. Sunset Clown. Sometimes you don't really know why something is worth so much because it's just like, oh, that's just 2 morphs. But then it turns out that, like, for some reason those morphs usually can't, like, coexist together or something, and that's why it's so rare. Which might be what happened here. Wow. So this is interesting. So we have Desert Ghost, which we already know is a very expensive morph. I don't know why. Tri-Stripe is kind of cool because it's got... Tri-Stripe morph is when you have the line down the center of the back on the spine, and then you have a smaller line, 1 on each side of that big line. So it's 3 stripes, right? I'm imagining it's pretty difficult to get that to manifest in any kind of visually appealing way. Pastel just means it's a little bit lighter colored. So I guess just getting Desert Ghost to appear with something else cool is what's driving the price here. I don't know. Oh, we haven't even talked about this. Scaleless. It is entirely possible to breed certain types of reptiles with no scales. I'm kind of torn on whether we should, Because if you take care of them the right way, it's not like they're in any pain or anything. But why though? Exactly. Because if you weren't aware, because I guess most people don't realize, like people think that reptiles' skin is their scales, and that's not true. Their scales are attached to their skin. Which is why, for example, Nanners, when she was having that constricted shed around her toes, on one of them, the shed came off and it took the scales with it and just left her skin underneath. So they do have skin separate from their scales. And their skin is like ours, you know, it's not just like seeping and oozing, like it's an external layer of skin, you know. So if you take care of a scaleless reptile and make sure that they can't cut themselves, because obviously they are a little bit more dainty and fragile, it's not like they're living their lives in pain or anything. But, you know, they have scales for a reason, so I'm not entirely sure why we're breeding them to not have scales. No armor run. So you can even see that it says over here, super scaleless head. Specifically with ball pythons, it's possible for only a part of them to not have scales, and most commonly that's their head. This one appears to not have scales on its entire body, which is also a thing that can happen sometimes. But you can see, for example, like this snake. Here. Let me do something. Can I duplicate this? I want to show you why this would matter. Let's go back to our favorite little chimera here. So you can see, right? We have this lovely schneck with these, they're called pits, in her face. That's all of those little, what look like nose holes. Those are not her nose holes, but the pits like kind of above her lip. That's what she uses to see. I mean, she uses her eyes, obviously, but that's what she uses to see heat. And so that's how she hunts. That's how she kind of perceives the world around her. Look at this one, and you'll see that she doesn't really have pits. She still has the sensory areas. You just can't see them because they're not delineated with the scales. But the point is, these pits are important. This scaleless snake is not going to be as good at, you know, identifying heat as this one that has correctly functioning pits. So there is actual, like, life repercussions for having a scaleless ball python, because pythons see partially through their pits, as opposed to like boas, which do not have pits. So it does kind of matter. And there are also, you can see there's scaleless corn snakes. It's not just ball pythons that can be scaleless. They can be scaleless beardies. But most of them are going to be ball pythons. Yeah. Nobody has any sort of scaleless anything else right now. Yeah, scaleless bearded dragon. Kind of same deal here. You can see he's just like skin, right? You can do scaleless corn snakes, which same deal. I'm trying to see. This is a good example because again, just skin. So it's a thing that happens sometimes, so that's why that's so expensive. So I want to go back real quick. I want to see if we can find any Sammies. I bet that they have some Sammies. So Sam is a boa constrictor. Boa constrictor, right here. So he would be classed as, I guess, all boa constrictors, because he's not a red tail, which is the most common keyword. Yep, there you go. 2 Sammies, both ladies. He's a Dumeril's boa. So there's your baby Sammy. It's kind of weird that there's only two. I would have expected there to be 5 or 6, but thanks for hanging out, Sokasa. Appreciate you. Pineless pine morts. That really just would be a sausage at that point. So let's see what other cool things we got. I could look at snakes all day. Oh, there's even a category just for Dumeral's boas. I didn't even notice. Hoggies are cute. King snakes, milk snakes, corn snakes, those are all fairly common. Oh, and rat snakes and bull snakes, gopher snakes, garter snakes, house snakes. Those are what most people have when they have snakes. Oh, I wanted to look at caiman lizards. I love caiman lizards. The dream pet. Look at the sweet face. He's like a little mango. Oh, he's so sweet. So caiman lizards come from Dracaena, or Dracana, excuse me. They are, which is a subclass of the family Teiidae, which is what Gladio is. They're kind of like the cousins of Tegus. And I love them so much. The problem, oh, look at him, he's such a good boy. The problem is that they are highly aquatic. They love to spend their time in the water. They eat snails. And I just right now, look at his big old head. I just right now do not have the capacity to take care of a caiman lizard. I want to show you one like in its natural habitat. Because they float in this really goofy way. Show one floating in the water. Yeah, well here's one underwater. They're very good swimmers and they spend, I think it's like 70% of their time in the water. So you need like a straight up like real big thing for them to be in. Like me having the 8x4x4 is not enough. So I would love to have one of these, but I just have to acknowledge that I'm not equipped right now with either the facilities or the knowledge to do it because I've never really worked with like filters and water kind of stuff, you know? They're very sweet. I love them. It's also hard to get food for them, right? Because they eat live snails, but you can't just get snails from a pet store because they usually have some kind of parasites in them. Trying to think other cute. I love lychees. Look at these absolute goobers. Give me a good lychee here. This is a pretty good lychee. Yeah, he got a smiley face. They usually have kind of like fat rolls too, and I love them. They're very cool. Listen, I could just nerd out about this forever, okay? But let me think if there's any other kind of like weird reptiles. There's axolotls. Salamanders. What do they got for other invertebrates? Millipedes. Hissing cockroaches. Those are cool. Oh my god, look at how big this thing is. This is huge. How big do these things get? How big are they? Wikipedia. Ethmostigmus rubripes. How, I don't care how many body segments they have. I care about whether they're going to eat me in my sleep. Oh, 11 inches? I mean, okay, still. An 11-inch centipede? Like the size of a ruler. I know someone with a mantis named Bitey. Plant is my favorite vertebrate. Yeah, we got a whole category for plant. it's just so, it looks fake because it's like so perfectly jointed and everything. It looks like a toy. You know what I'm saying? What? There's more of them. Well, you know, Shavil, give me that desert ghost centipede. We have a giant cherry. We have a black flame. So, lest you thought that there were not morphs for bugs, there absolutely are. Just a bunch of dubia now. These things are really cool. I like these. They're just so like vibrantly colored. I mean, I wouldn't like keep one, but they're cool. Premium centipede skin. That's what your centipede looks like when you have like the latest graphics card and your computer's running at like 240 frames per second. So, one of my favorite things to do is go to other whatever, other pythons, other boas, other colubrids. Let's go to other lizards because these are the boys that don't fit anywhere else. And so they are often weird. Legless lizards. We don't have any right now. No longishes for us. Let's see what else we got. All other lizards. Let's just go there. Oh, Gila monsters. Gila monsters, also part of the family beaded lizards, are the only venomous. Are they the only venomous lizard in the world? Because technically, Komodo dragons aren't venomous, right? They're just gross. But Gila monsters are genuinely venomous. They have venom glands in their lower jaw, I believe. And for the longest time, people were like, don't worry about it. Because, like, a Gila monster, yeah, it's venomous, but, like, the venom's not going to kill you. It's just going to really hurt. And then I swear to God, like, within the last year or something, a dude finally died to a Gila monster because he got bit and he's like, oh, this isn't a big deal. But then he had an allergic reaction to the venom on top of it just being venom. And now everybody's like, well, guess we can't say that they're not dangerous anymore. Where did that? It was in like Idaho or something. Colorado, March 15th. That was like a month ago. Colorado man died from pet Gila monster's venomous bite. And it was just like a really yeah, it was a really like unique and unfortunate situation. But they do in fact have venom and they apply it in an interesting way. So most reptiles, like snakes, right? They bite you and they have those big fangs that inject the venom into you. But that's not what happens with Gila monsters. They have really powerful jaws. So they will latch onto you and they'll bite you. And you imagine that this animal is giving you a good maunch. But his teeth aren't anything special. So he's not injecting venom that way. Instead, what he's doing is he's breaking open the skin with his little stubby teeth, and then he's just chewing, just gently massaging and chewing that slight injury. And that massaging, chewing motion is what stimulates his venom glands to like release venom, which just massaging into your open wound. And that's how they envenomate their prey. Which is to say they're not very good at it. Yeah, here's a different beaded lizard. You can see how they're related to Gila monsters, but they're not the same thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's literally the case for Komodo dragons. Like, they're not venomous. It's just that their mouths are so gross that you probably die. Alligator lizards are really cool. This is where does it say? Yeah, Abronia lythrochilla. Abronia is an alligator lizard. That's the family here. Abronia graminea are really, really pretty. Like, look at this lizard. Look at this lizard. It's so pretty. So I love these lizards. Like chameleons, though, they're really hard to take care of. They're really super sensitive to humidity, and if you don't get it right, they will not do well. They're so pretty. So anyway, that's alligator lizards. What else we got over here in the weird category? Keel-bellied lizards. Those are always cool. Water dragons. Oh man, are there any sun gazers? There's no way that there's a sun gazer on here. We'll have to look in a second. Look at these sailfin dragons, by the way, with that big ol' dinosaur sail on their tail. Really, really cool. They're called Hydrosaurus. Like, come on. There's more Gila monsters. Oh, so here's another thing that we haven't talked about. This 1.1 is something that you'll encounter when you're searching for reptiles. This is a description of sex. So instead of people, when they make listings, saying, I have a female of this and a male of this, they will say, I have 1.1. So this listing is saying there is a female and a male for sale. 1.0 means male, 0.1 means female. So 1.1 means male and female together. And 0.0.1 means I don't know. It means unsexed. So if you have like 1.2.1, that means you have one male, two females, and one that you don't know. Oh, big sale on this one. Look at that. He's getting all the ladies. Come on. This guy, he's popular with the ladies. We know that. And the females, of course, do not have as big of a sale. Green-killed lizards just have like the best face. It's just like the most lizard face that has ever lizard. Good guy. Love him. What else we got? We got more Abronia, another caiman lizard, very cute. Whoa! Somebody has a Borneo earless monitor? That is super rare. These aren't necessarily very good pictures. Let me get you. These guys look like dragons. Like, look at this. That is the face of a dragon. With the blue eyes and the spiky scales. It's Godzilla. It's literally Godzilla. And these guys are super, super rare, so I'm very surprised to see one at all. Let alone that it's only $4,000. That is very low, I feel. See, we're finding cool things. There's only 6 pages. I'm gonna go through them all. Oh, the Abronia vasconcelosi is not happy over here. Crested dragons, some agamas, basilisks, more Gila monsters. Frilled dragons, obviously, I think you all know what these guys look like, even if you don't think that you do. They're very classic. It's these guys, you know? These ones with the big frill around their face. Sadly, a lot of people want frilled dragons because they look cool like this, and then you realize that they only do that when they're scared. And so if you're keeping your frilled dragon in like a good, healthy way, he'll never do that. So the people who always have their frillies with their frills out, it's usually more like a sad, like, stop terrorizing him, you know? Sudan plated lizards are cool. There's actually some plated lizards, these exact ones. Sudan plated lizards, squamata, at a rescue near me. They're having a hard time adopting them out because people don't recognize them, so they don't know how to take care of them. Yeah, no, frillies cannot hurt you. They're just trying to be very intimidating. Lacerdas are cool. They can be very pretty. What did you have to do to the scientist who discovered you to have the name Horridum? What kind of horrible things did you do, my guy? It's a galley wasp. Look at his little face. What a friend. You don't usually see those either. I'm surprised to see so many agamas, to be honest. More keelbellied lizards. Forest dragons, obviously, they look a fair bit like dragons as well with these spikes. This guy's in the middle of a shed a little bit, but $700 seems honestly not that unreasonable for something rare like that. So we got some other lizards over here. I'm going to assume bad fart. You know what? Possible. Very possible. I want to go briefly into other geckos because I want to look at whether they have satanic leaf-tailed geckos, which are just wild. Because there's one, yeah. So as you can see, they're meant to mimic leaves. Real cool looking. I'm not sure they deserve the name satanic, but just real cute little guys. And I mean a pair for $12.50? Considering their rarity, that doesn't seem to be half bad. Here's another one that's mimicking a leaf. It's a really nice picture, actually. How did you end up this way, little guy? At what point in history were you like, I need to be more leaf? And then nature was like, I got you. Not super many geckos here. They'll mostly be in the other broader gecko groups. Oh, he look right at you. He look right into your soul. What a friend. See, look at all these lovely little fellas that you get to meet. Some got real big heads. This one is so angry. Look at how angry she is. But she's smiling a little bit. She got some plans. She gonna light some buildings on fire later. I think humans will evolve to resemble skyscrapers. What are our natural predators? So yeah, like I could literally do this all day. I will not do this all day, but I could literally do this all day. Are there any other categories that we want to look at? Because we could look at a million of them. Maybe we should look at chameleons real quick. Well, okay, we're gonna look at anoles. Or anoles, depending on how you say it. Because there's one specific little buddy I want to look for. Tokay geckos over here on the left with the red spots are little demons. They're the things that should be called satanic. They are really, really mean, usually. And then I want to look at chameleons because they're pretty. But first, I want to look, yes, for Cuban false chameleons because I just want to show you. Are there any more? It's weird that he was over here. But maybe we'll see the one that I'm looking for. That's got just, yeah. Here. Because Cuban false chameleons, as you can see, are not actually chameleons. They are anoles. And they have the biggest head you have ever seen. That picture does not do it justice. I'm gonna have to just... Their heads are comically large compared to the rest of their bodies. Like, look at this. Look at this. Big head. Big boy. Just a weirdo. So I literally just wanted to show you that because their heads are just comically large. Okay, so actual chameleons. Very, very pretty. I just want to look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's the entire bag of Skittles in one lizard. So chameleons are really cool. They got them grippy fingies. They got the eyeballs that look in different directions and the big sticky tongue. The reason that you probably shouldn't keep a chameleon is because they're super sensitive. Their humidity needs to be like 80%, and if you give them 82%, they're like, "Nope, I'm dead." You give them 79% and they're like, "Nah, I'm sick." They're really finicky. Look at this one. Look at this. He's so beautiful. Can't ever get a picture of the whole chameleon, but look how pretty he is. So yeah, chameleons are really cool, but I would never keep one. I bet that if we sort this one by price highest, we'll get really pretty ones at the top. I guess none of them are especially expensive though. Oh, this fella. This fella doesn't want to have his picture taken. He says, "Oh, please. Please don't." He's so sad. Most expensive ever. Yeah, let's do $4,000 for this fella. Is the largest living chameleon species. Sweet and very personable. Is it just because a Parsons chameleon is rare? Or because he has orange eyeballs? I'm unsure. As a finger owner, I feel threatened by tokay geckos, and that is completely fair. Yeah, so look, again, like, different person. 1.1, so male and female. Calluma parsoni, that's going to be Parsons chameleon, again. So it just seems like Parsons chameleons are kind of rare, and that's why they're expensive. Yeah, because here's another Parsons chameleon for 3,000. Parsons chameleon, 3,000. Oh, look at this one. Oh, the website is temporarily overloaded. Don't do it to me. I'm sorry, I've been single-handedly loading every single animal on your website. I clicked too much. I mean, this one's really pretty. You can really tell on this one that, like, the camouflage, you know, that would be really hard to see if you were anything that was looking for this creature in the wild. Hey, Sancho. Out of my meeting, please summarize the last hour and 20 minutes. Last hour and 20 minutes, I'm gonna go with lizard. Oh, why her arms so small? Why? Why her arms so short? I love it. This looks like an AI generated image of a plastic chameleon toy. What? I love it. She's worth $2,580. Let's be real. We all know it. Oh, and this one with his hands together so gently and that perfect little curly cue of a tail. Perfection. They're not short, they're foreshortened. Whatever helps you sleep at night. Yeah, all of these expensive ones are Parsons Chameleon. That seems to be the case. And then we got some of the brighter colored ones. This one seems especially upset. Like look at this face. That's a frowny face, okay? Whoopsie. What have I done? Like, turn that frown upside down, my man. He grumpy. Yeah, he real grumpy. He got like a big chin, big nose, frowny face. It reminds me of an anime guy. He kind of reminds me of is it maybe Sonic? Does he low key remind me? No, I know what he reminds me of. He reminds me of the assistant guy for Gru in Despicable Me. You know who I'm talking about? The old man on the little scooter. That's who he reminds me of. So anyway, I am going to say we have thoroughly explored Lizard. No, you're right. You're right for sure. He absolutely looks like Principal Kobayakawa, who is also a big thick man. But I think, as sad as it is to say, we have Lizard. And could I keep looking at Lizard all day? Yes, I could. But the exciting thing is that all of these lizards that we have looked at today, and Schnecks and everything else, many of them will have found new homes in the near future. So if we do this again later, we'll have a bunch of brand new lizards to look at, which is very exciting. I want to see one more time if anybody has posted more berries in the 5 seconds since I've looked. Nope, there's still 7. Okay. Well, I think we will leave it on this lovely face. This beautiful, gorgeous face of this wonderful friend. While I find us somebody to raid. So, who is streaming? Thanks for hanging out, by the way, everybody. This was really fun. I think we're gonna raid Ruby. Yeah, who's streaming lizards, right? Ruby is streaming Tunic, actually, so that should be lots of fun. Doing the multi-world thing again with keys and everybody. But yeah, like I said, I could do this all day, every day. So thanks for just hanging out while I just nerd out about lizards. This is great. I'll be back next week. I think, or at least I hope, that if we don't finish the Last Guardian not for resale thing, at least we'll get like most of the way. And then I don't know, I might put that on Thursday and we do a speed run on Tuesday. I haven't decided, but I don't see any reason why I'm not streaming Tuesday and Thursday next week. So say hi to Ruby when you get over there. And I will see you around. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Stay safe. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you. Bye.